We will send a light through a message that will illuminate everyone that we come into contact with. We will be deliberate in planting seeds for growth in our generations and for those to come. Our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Welcome back to the Be Light Podcast. It's your boy K Sloan. Here with my dog.
Hey, John. Light come on. You know, that light, you're like, ding, it's like the light came on.
Mentally, you got to be able to say, I can get myself out of any hole.
My birthdays don't count if I don't have parties, so I'm really like 22.
I like that. I'm gonna take that.
Okay.
I'm gonna take that. 22, aka Dirty 30. All right. So welcome back to the Be a Light Podcast. It's your boy K Sloan here, with my dog.
Hey, Jones.
Jay Jiggly, man. And then y'all know what y'all know what it is when y'all see these two faces right here. Y'all know what it is. We got the brain, and then we got the man, the myth, and the legend. Let them go ahead and introduce themselves.
Wait, who's the brain?
I'll let them fight over the brain.
I don't want to be mythological today, so I'm gonna be the brain. It's your boy
boy Nate G. And then
ain't that a mythological face he got right there? Look at him, lost.
No.
It's all good.
So they don't ever say my name on here anyway, so Mr. Living go.
What you mean?
Have you ever
said introduce yourself?
We always
my own name.
So I'm saying they say his name.
Marcus in English. I'm just on here trying to stay on for the next keep me off. I'm just trying to stay on for a little while. That's all. I got some good stuff. I swear.
All right, now we appreciate it, man. It's Mr. Lift and Go. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. If you know, you probably mad.
You probably ain't too happy that you know. You probably ain't too happy that you know. But man, so how y'all boys feeling, man? What's life got going for y'all? What we got up? Jay Jones, 30-30. Around the corner.
22. I'm turning 22 Sunday. Sunday, and this weekend we're gonna celebrate. Nate gonna be there. The money gonna be there. I mean, Mr. Lifton gonna be there. Kerry might pop up. We don't know.
Man, that's a drive, brother. That's about 10 hours we're looking at.
You in El Paso.
I'm El Paso. I'm gonna be there in spirit.
Should bring the proper attire.
The Marcus, you right though. I definitely would bring the pop-up tire if I pulled up though.
Like the myth or something.
The Marcus, I feel like you just got this real somber vibe going, bro. Is everything good, bro? I'm just checking on you, man. I know y'all said last time we gotta check on the homies. I'm checking on the homie right now. You good, bro?
No, I'm great. I'm great. I know we didn't know him, but there was I don't know what you say. There's a rapper that passed away, and then you were a death makes you reflect on your own personal life.
100.
I know there's a couple things that we're gonna talk about today, but makes you reflect on your own personal life, accomplishments, goals, where you are, status, family, getting in contact with people that you probably should have been got back in contact with. It is a reality check for the people that are still in reality.
Yeah, that's facts. I was thinking about the same thing. And I kind of wanted to share for people that don't know what DeMarcus is referencing to. He's talking about, the legendary DMX. I just want to read this article that they posted today on CNN. It says DMX, a rapper much known for his troubles as his music, died today. He was 50, and then he died today at the what hospital was that? I don't see it on there. It don't show it right now. They said he was hospitalized since last week. He suffered a heart attack at his home in New York, and that was according to his longtime attorney. So I know there was actually a falsifying of reports yesterday. They had put it out early saying that he was dead already because I was on Instagram live and somebody had came on and it was like, yeah, DMX passed. I was like, nah, bro. I was like, he ain't passed. I was like, he's still fighting the
Mhm.
fight. And then I know
Yeah.
today that information got released. One of my students told me in class, and I was just like, man, like I was like, it was just like when he told me, I was just thinking like, you don't even know like what I saw. These kids, they like 12, 13, so they don't know about DMX, but X was like we talked about before the podcast, he was openly going through it. Like literally, like his struggles was like documented. So I don't know, man. I feel like from seeing DMX go through them struggles, I know for me the big focus that I would take into my life moving forward, to whereas I could take those lessons is like just being transparent, because that transparency it helps other people grow with you. Because it's able to build that connection point, because everybody got their own struggles, and sometimes it's hard for us as men to be open about that stuff, and until you can open up about it, you can't grow from it. So that was one thing I always respected about DMX, and it's painful to see that he went by overdose, man. Like I don't know what y'all
Yeah.
brothers think about it.
Hey, that's one of the things we gonna be talking about, right? Is
Yeah,
pleasure versus addiction, right? So, I mean, it's tough seeing somebody that you grew up with, listening to all of the music, seeing the movies. It's definitely tough, but it's another one of those things of how important mental health is, how you're coping with things, how you're dealing with everything, right? So,
yeah,
plenty of thoughts on it, but condolences to the family, as
100.
always. It's the least you can say.
Yeah. X man. What you think about that, Jay Jones? I mean, you see people deal with struggles like that all the time. That's your
Yeah.
profession.
Uh, it's tough because his situation started off somebody lacing blunt or whatever, and it kind of got him hooked. And a lot of people have addictive personalities. Addictive personalities is like they love that pleasure. Then they. I mean, we're gonna talk about it later, but they thrive for it. They want it so bad, so they just keep doing it over and over, and takes over their mind, and at the end of the day, it can kill them. So it's hurtful though, like y'all said. I was a young kid and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
He had
yeah.
I was screaming the songs and everything. I never wanted to ride motorcycles or nothing, but just seeing the Rough Riders and everything, it was cool. It was so cool. So
Bro.
he was an inspiration in good ways too. A lot of people say like that article said that he had more troubles than
Yeah.
good. I don't believe that. I think he spoke a lot of great things and inspired a lot of people too. So
Yeah, CNN got an agenda, you know what I'm saying? You know how it goes. You know how it goes. But,
He just landed a black man after his
mm,
passing.
man, like leave the man alone. He already gone. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then like,
And it work off your empathy too, because somebody, of course, YouTube and everybody gonna make a bunch of money off of DMX today and tomorrow
Yeah,
or probably this weekend because everybody gonna be listening to the songs or bringing it back up or showing their kids who he really was. They got all these videos out about it, so that's gonna generate money and generate eyes, and they can, they can put
bro,
their ads in and stuff like that. But
it's
man,
crazy
a
how
lot of stuff
fast that happened.
there's a lot of stuff that they showing now. Like they got one with him and his daughter on a roller coaster. They got one where he was talking to Nipsey Hussle. They got one where he's telling people like, if I die today, like I'm good, like I'm in a peaceful place. Like there's a lot of good that came out of that.
Hmm.
People say we don't get our roses while we're still alive, but I'm just glad a lot of people are tending to show the good that he done.
mm-hmm.
That's one good thing about social media, man. You do see a lot of people celebrating. Right? I
Mm-hmm.
think that's always a positive thing to see. Where I think media outlets they're gonna do a little bit of both. They're gonna have their negative talk as well, but a lot of fan support, fan celebration has been out there. But when you say that though, everything you were saying, though, I think it's so crazy how fast that kind of stuff happens, right? How the money can be made off of memorial, right?
Oh yeah.
I of course just what you're saying. I'm headed to work. I say, oh man, I heard about X. I'm finna listen to some DMX headed into work. I search DMX. It's already remembering DMX playlist, this and that. I'm like, man, that's kind of like you have somebody who's this is your job at the end of the day, right? Like, so that is really a crazy thought how how we kind of like monetize everything, right? And then with what Kerry was saying too, the false report that was out there. that TMZ stuff is crazy to me, man.
Crazy.
Like how these people are so connected somewhere that they're able to break all of this information, right? Like I remember when Kobe passed, right? It was so crazy
I was
how
thinking
fast
about
all of that
that.
spread.
I was thinking about
Like
that.
it's really, really wild. I think that kind of is unfair to the families in a sense, right? Like you kind of taking away a piece of their actual grieving process. Yeah,
Bro,
it's just thoughts.
it terrifies you when one of your favorite celebrities is sick or going through something because you know you got to be leery of anything that shows up when it comes to TMZ. It's like they pop up with stuff like quick, or it could be any like media platform that come out with some false news, and then it'd be like you get your heart going. You be like, man, is this? And then it'll be like, oh, that's fake news. This is what's really going on. And it's just like, man, how are these people so insensitive? Like, how could people be? But it's not even, it's all about money. Like,
If it ain't about the money,
it's all about the
Yep,
money. So, they're not really worried about, the grieving process for the families. They worried about getting that story out first. And I
yep.
that's it.
know,
It's about them clicks, man.
bro, they
That's
said,
really it.
and we're gonna switch gears a little bit to get off this type of vibe, but they said recently, Kobe Bryant's wife, I think I saw like a post she posted. There's, I'm talking about Jay Jones about the I guess the pictures of when he was on the plane, when he got off the plane, like when they pulled his body off, somebody was sending the pictures around, like of the
Oh,
remains of
the
Kobe's.
sheriff
Yeah,
department or something, right? Like when I
yeah.
think that's what I heard.
He sent it to
Mhm.
somebody else that had nothing to do with, saying investigation and things like that. He sent it to a personal friend just to say, I got Kobe's remains in my phone. It was confiscated. And then there was a whole ordeal behind that. I think Kobe's wife got involved, and then there was
Yeah,
the whole,
she's suing them
yeah,
right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a
Like
mess,
think
man.
about that, man. What kind of people is society? I'm not even gonna say what kind of person is that. What kind of people are we in society that we have people who actually want to consume that, but so much that somebody is willing to go and do it, right? Regardless of who it is, right? Somebody just passed away, bro. Like, where's your respect? Like, I don't know.
Desensitized
It's
humans, man.
Like
These
yeah.
humans are desensitized to it at this point. Like
so
it's like,
years
oh,
ago,
this.
years ago we started. I think I'm pretty sure you remember this, but we used to talk about when cell phones started advancing, and they used to charge you for every letter that you type in a text message. So everybody started going shorthand with like the words and stuff, and we said that's going to hurt people's literature and their grammar. Well, the same thing with death, especially after 9/11, man, we've been so desensitized to seeing death, so now we want to record it and we want to be the ones to show it to somebody else. Like I, it's like we were talking about earlier, even with Nipsey Hussle. Like I can't get that picture out of my head of Nipsey Hussle falling back. I wish I'd never seen the video. Like, but it's marketable now. Like Nate said, is people
It's
monetize
clout.
stuff now. They make money off of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Going viral, get your clout up. It's all good.
Yeah,
That's why
that's tough.
we gotta make sure we kind of feed some good stuff into social media, man, because social media is definitely what you make it. It's like social media is really becoming the world. So everything in the world, every thought in the world is now, on the air. It's out in the air. It's in front of your hand. You know what I'm saying, on your phone, at the, what I'm saying, scroll. As soon as you scroll, you see it. Like it ain't like you get the chance to think about, do I want to see this? Do I not want to see this? You scroll, you turn on Instagram, you get on Facebook, and you scroll once, and now you saw it. You know what I'm
You know
saying?
what's crazy? You saying that? The
Yeah,
first thing I saw when I got on Twitter, that was well, it was like 6:30 this morning. I woke up, just happened
yeah,
to get on the phone, sitting around,
yeah.
and it was a video from sometime yesterday. I don't even know where this actually happened at, but just two cops pulled another black dude over. He was a veteran,
Oh
and
yeah.
dude is sitting in the car. I don't know if you happen to see the video, but dude is sitting here saying like, "Hey, really, I'm afraid for my life. Like, I don't want to get out of the car. Y'all making me nervous. All of that, pepper spray, all of that." But I'm sitting there thinking like, man, I'm watching this just to see what's gonna happen, right? And honestly, with the certain expectation of what I expected to happen, and like that's just crazy that we at that point, to me, right? So
Bro, we've been conditioned. We've been conditioned.
yeah,
So it's not all our fault. I mean, it's just like Pavlov's dog. I mean, it's Pavlov's theory. Like, you know what I'm saying? The
Right.
bell and the dog starts salivating. It's just like you get used to it. But man, let's check.
Right.
Let's just switch gears though. You know what I'm saying? Respect the
That's
DMX.
why we
Respect
spreading the
the
light
stuff.
here,
That's how
right?
we. You know what I'm
That's
Spread
why
saying?
we
We trying to
spreading light in the
illuminate. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to
darkness.
start tearing up about the. You know what I'm saying?
I know I got some better light this time.
Mm. Yeah, you bringing all of the colors. I see you with your plants back
You
there
got
getting
the
the
plants in the
oxygen in.
back.
Yep.
Light
Oh,
source.
Yep. Yep.
okay. So next topic, crazy.
Yeah,
Look, all right.
yeah.
So we're gonna talk about Demarcus. You know, he always Demarcus spit out topics like 5 and 2 minutes. Ding, ding, on the floor, just ding, ding. But Demarcus came up with current status, where you want or expect to be. Okay, how
That
to expect
the current
what?
current stats versus where you want
Oh
to be.
yeah, I read that wrong. Current status versus where you want to be, and then like how you know how to accept your current status, and also have the mental strength to plan to get what you expect.
Hmm.
So Demarcus, elaborate on that. What you meant
Well,
by that?
we were talking more of a and it really has uh, no sex base to it, but we were talking about men in general, and that's where I was coming from. Where uh, a lot of men, I don't think we want to admit to it anyways, but we're fighting against where we are, mentally, financially, even spiritually. We're fighting on about where we are and where either we expect to be, where our partner expects us to be, or what society expects us to be. I hope I'm explaining that right, but
Mhm.
it's the verses of who I am right now and where I either I want to be or where I'm expected to be, and that challenge that we go through daily that we don't speak about, we don't elaborate on, and we don't even a lot of us don't even have the plans to get to that place that we're trying to get to, if that's what we're trying to get to. But that's why I brought that up because I feel like it doesn't get talked about. We don't talk about it, and you just go through life trying to fight something that you can't even see.
Mm.
Mm.
It's a ghost. It's like just something that you just is always in the room. It's the elephant in the room when it comes to a lot of different men. I see that a lot, and it shows up in the egos when you get into certain situations, or sometimes the lack of self esteem that certain men possess. I know for myself, I've dealt with that for sure. Like just being at a certain age and expecting to have a certain amount of uh, finances, having, saying being at a certain level of your relationship, it's hard. But I think that comes from a lack of peace with the present moment. You know what I'm saying? Like I've heard it explained that looking too far ahead creates anxiety. You know what I'm saying? And looking too far back creates depression. So when you are doing that to yourself, it's because you're not just in the same spot. Like you're not staying there and saying, okay, I'm gonna build from here. Like, yes, I am 30, but even though I'm 30 and I said I wanted X, Y, and Z, I'm not quite ready for that yet, or I'm not in a place in my career where I need to have that yet. Like it's not mine yet. I haven't possessed that shit. And that's okay because what I'm saying, you got cats like the dude that ran KFC. He didn't blow up till he was like, what I'm saying, 65 or whatever when he got KFC jumping. And it's like we gotta stop putting these timelines on ourselves and beating ourselves up when we don't get to that point where we, originally planned to be. You know what I'm saying? You and the homies was chopping it up when y'all was 22 talking about what y'all be doing. And maybe some of the homies did get there, you didn't get there. It's cool, bro. Like that's not your timing. Like your time is your timing. And we gotta preach that to one another, just kind of being able to be comfortable within our own situations, I think.
We got
Yeah.
to be better
Yep.
educated too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's the
That's true.
comparison thing, man. Is all of that is comparison to, just call it the gold standard. It's the comparison to whatever is the elite standard, right?
Yeah.
But reality is you probably somewhere in the middle. Like that's usually the real outcome. You're never really as good as you think you are. You're never as bad as you think you are, right?
That's
Mm.
true.
But when you really kind of get into, we talking about especially like your financial standing, what you're doing in life, if you're not out here really just screwing up and living bad, like if you can be honest with yourself and tell you making the wrong decisions, you doing a bad job, right? That's one thing. But if you can't look at yourself and say that, why are you so overly hard, so overly critical on yourself, right? because everything is not just you. It takes the right environment, it takes the right time in the right situation, all of that, the right preparation, a little bit of luck. You got to get things to work together, right? So
Mhm.
I think
I,
it's kind of shifting that focus that you have to have, right? Shift your perception of where you're comparing.
yeah, I have a question though. Since y'all all play football and I did too, do y'all think that sports kind of pushes us to chase that ghost? Because everybody has that ghost, that bench number. Everybody on the on the chart. Everybody, oh, the record is 400, or the 40 time is 42. So do y'all think that we kind of brought up to chase that ghost, and then when we leave sports, I mean, the next ghost is that $1 million. The next ghost is that six-figure job. So do y'all think it's just kind of in us, kind of from a
I would say yes, but I would also say it's still the same thing about actually being honest with yourself, right? Because I play O line, you play O line, D line. I never one day in my life thought about running the 4.2240 and tying the record, right? So
right?
I did think like, it would be cool if I could bench like Larry Allen. And then I was like, you know what? I bench 430 pounds and it's a long way to go. I'm not really that interested in it anymore, right? So you can compare on is it worth it to actually keep chasing that ghost? Do you actually have the capabilities of catching that ghost, right? A lot of people want to be Michael Jordan, but it's not really that many LeBrons in the world who can actually go and try to catch that ghost.
So like Nate, to piggyback off what Jay Jones said though, like when you talking about competition, y'all being O lineman, D lineman, when you was playing, you always knew who the best O lineman or D lineman across from you was gonna be. So if you was lined up across from him, you made it your duty to make sure you wore him out. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
like, is
In
what
your
about
own
that?
way though. And that's
Right.
that's what I mean. Is you do make it your duty to be the best that you can,
Mm-hmm.
but you do it in your own way. It doesn't
Mhm.
have to be the same way that the ghost did it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna use the Mike, the Kobe, and the LeBron thing. Kobe chased the ghost by trying to be the ghost, right?
Right.
Mhm.
LeBron ain't trying to be the ghost, but he knows that this is what I'm chasing, right? So you do it in a way that actually is gonna fit and work for you. I
Right.
think is really what I'm trying to say there. So
No,
Right.
100. 100.
To kind of, I guess, play devil's advocate. Uh, what in football, in sports, uh, you're not really chasing the goals because you're gonna either you're gonna achieve or you're gonna get humbled. Like if you're going against the best offensive lineman and you think you're just as good, well, you're gonna find out.
But to talk about like Nate's point, Nate's saying like the ghost would be like Jordan, right? So
Yeah.
Jordan done playing. So now he's the ghost. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody's gonna
Right.
play Jordan again. Like you ain't playing
Right.
Jordan. Jordan's already 6 rings deep. You feel what I'm saying?
yeah,
Or Michael Strahan trying to get to 200 sacks because Bruce Smith, the
Right.
ghost is that it's almost that number that's like,
yeah,
you
Yeah.
get
it's
I
what
Yeah.
came before
I
you.
took a different way. I took a different way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Right. And I
Now,
think like
if you're just
that's
trying to, you thinking about like fighting the top dog in the game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, go. Yeah, if I'm an O lineman, yes, I want to block Aaron Donald. I do. Am I gonna win? Probably not.
right.
But I'm gonna try.
right. Right.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that's something that go ahead.
No, I was saying Nate threw that 400 out there like it wasn't nothing. The 400
Yeah,
on the bench.
I ain't never in my life. Never in my life. Look, my chest
Nah,
hurt thinking about it.
man, that 385 hurt. That 385 when I got that, I think I got 375. I tried to
Okay.
gas myself. 375, I think. Probably 365 really. But
Why are running backs so ridiculously strong?
because we always got to take the beating, bro. Like it's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? We get the ball too much. We got to block. We got, that's a whole nother topic. That's a whole nother topic. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm passionate about that one right there. But
Mhm.
um, nah, bro, I think that sports does do that to us. Like, I mean, in
Mhm.
regards to, I remember in high school, I was chasing the records, every record we had. Like every record that was rushing related, touchdowns related, I wanted it, and I was so fixated on that. And I got a few. And then going into college, I ended up breaking a few records as far as in the weight room. And then transitioning into my regular life, it was like, okay, what are the new records I can chase,
Mhm.
right? What are
Mhm.
those new milestones I can come go after? And the real world's a little more broad. You have to specialize, you have to niche, and I think that this. Hold up, I'll let you go. I think that the problem the problem I had was I would consume myself with other people. Like I, I,
Mhm.
I literally focused on the best in whatever I said I was gonna do now. So let's say I say I'm gonna do mental health. Now I'm looking at whoever everybody considers as the top of mental health, and now I'm like, okay, I want to be better than him. But it's not really about that. Like and that'll create depression because when
Mhm.
you can't literally emulate and look just like that person, now you think you less than when really you doing stuff in your own way. You making your own type of magic, but
Right.
you never not even noticing it because you literally are watching someone else. You scoreboard watching really.
Mhm.
Where is the line? Because I can see where that can be healthy. So where is the line where that's healthy and unhealthy? Because I mean, if you got a goal to chase or to emulate or to put your best foot forward to try to get to a place, I would consider healthy. But when does it become unhealthy?
I
A
think
big
it's when it's something you can you like we said, like I'm not dunking like Michael Jordan. I'm not built like that. I can't do it. It's something that you almost aim too high, you
Okay.
know, and you know it's not bad to aim high, but it is bad to aim too high. Like Kerry said, you're gonna end up depressed because you're never gonna reach it. You know, it's like
The reality.
I'm never gonna score 60 points in a basketball game.
you're not
When your
good
Be
at that.
goals
realistic. Be
are
realistic.
so unreal that you can't accept the failures that are going to come with getting there, that's when it's negative, right? When you can't
Mhm.
accept, like, okay, I wasn't good enough this time, and it's not a positive rebuild for you. It's a self tear down. It's bad coping habits, whatever it is like that. I think that's a simple way of saying it, but it's like what Kerry was saying too. When something consumes you, bro, it's not really a good thing, right?
Mhm.
And it can be with probably respect to some other things that I'm not thinking about. I would even say that even though we can call something a good thing, if that good thing is all that consumes you, that in itself is not good because you don't have balance, right?
Mhm.
But
Everything in moderation. Everything in moderation.
And even them stories about Kobe, like when they used to talk about the stories with Kobe, when he used to say, like, he used to go in the gym at 2 a.m. and what I'm saying, he would shoot, put up shots, and he said he didn't get to see his kids like he wanted to. And the greats, I mean, they in a sense are addicted to their craft. The greatest of all time in anything. They talk about the crazy things they did to get to that point. And it's like, okay, if you're addicted and you're successful, then I think that it kind of helps ease that pain, I guess, during the time, right? So it's like, okay, like I am successful, but you're gonna have to find balance. You will
Mhm.
have to find balance because if you don't, I don't care how great you are at anything, bro, you're gonna crash and burn without
Mhm.
balance at some point. That's why a lot of times we see these amazing athletes, especially in football, amazing athletes that end up we lose them to crazy stuff like suicide. We lose them to the prison system. We lose them to like domestic abuse. It's because they got all this stuff going on in their minds, and they literally consume themselves in the game. Like they
Mhm.
consume themselves with being the greatest in the game, Tyreek Hill. And now your anger is coming out of your girl to where you now your anger coming out of your girl to where you
Hey, name drop,
bro,
bro.
bro, I'm keeping it a book. Like, cause I think that's what it come from, bro. It be the players that do this stuff be on top of their game. They don't be bad players. They ain't like the sorry third string
That's not
dude that went
always
out.
true. That's
Who,
not
who?
always
Give me one example, Nate. Who?
the Chad Wheeler dude, the lineman for the Seahawks. He's a scrub, and he
Bro.
beat his girlfriend near to death earlier this year.
we ain't
Couple
going
of
to no NFL players. This
I don't know if y'all
But
heard about it.
but
It was a
no, no.
scrub DB who just
Killed
killed 5 people
five
and then
people.
shot himself.
Oh,
It's
But
I
that
well,
might
mean,
be CTE.
yeah,
it
I'm
Uh
about
could.
to say now
I'll
another
say this though.
it's
I
what
say
else?
the higher
Oh man.
percentage, the higher percentage is the greats.
They
The
still
higher
are.
percentage
They
is the
still
greats.
are NFL football players.
That's true.
Well,
That's
yeah, no, that's fair. If we gonna say this because I mean, because you are in the league, you are one of the greats.
You
If
are
we gotta
one
right.
of
be
the
real.
greats off
So
of that, but
But if
yeah.
we that name drop Ben Roethlisberger, but
hey man, we gotta stop doing that though, bro. We over consuming
podcast will have
ourselves.
no NFL players on.
Hey, but you know what? Even those players would be like, man, like I don't endorse that. Like I think a lot of times there's stuff that happens when you overconsume yourself in something. The things that kind of transpire after you lose yourself. you would almost say, aren't you? Like I'm sure these guys will sit there and say, "Man, I'm so sorry." You know, they are so remorseful. They don't. I don't think these are just bad people. It's just that you have no balance. You have
But
no balance.
but they were in a position where they were so great and so praised and so highly acclaimed to where they became a god to people, man. Like you can't. I think
Exactly.
almost a form of like being invincible to things. Like
Yeah.
It
I can
is. Think
get
about how
away.
athletes get treated, dude. Athletes are super
Yeah.
invincible, right?
I don't
Dudes
know.
is
I don't know if
if
y'all
you
have
the
ever.
top dog from 15, you invincible.
Right.
It's that physical. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was saying I don't know if y'all have ever heard this. I know, especially after his trial, people heard it. But there's a famous quote from O.J. Simpson where he said, "I'm not black.
I'm
I'm
OJ, bro.
O.J."
Yeah, I'm OJ, bro. Like,
Like, yeah.
but that's real because he
I'm
didn't
my
get
own
treated
race.
because you know that he didn't get treated like
Right.
black guy. You know what Hov saying in the song, you still okay, still jigger,
Feel
right?
that.
I'm still jigger.
Feel that.
But he got treated like OJ
Yeah.
because he was the juice, right?
Damn.
But
And I
speak,
mean,
but
you know,
I mean, I'm saying like we really kind of talking about the next topic, kind of
Hold
addiction,
up. Let me
addiction
tell. Let me
versus
let me
pleasure.
touch on this real quick though. Let me touch on this real
Oh,
quick. Real
go,
quick.
go, go,
That
go ahead,
the
touch on.
that physical prowess, I think, is something that in our world that we live in, right? In our society, it's like when you're physically dominant to other people, that's when you see that confidence. You see that type of I can't be touched. I'm godly. Floyd Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? You ever hear the way he talked to people? Like, you know what I'm saying? The way he talks about himself, talking about like maybe the top guys in basketball, top guys, they say what they want to say because they know that physically they can dominate. Like if it had to go down, I could beat you know what I mean? Like if it had to go down.
that's what they call the heavyweight champion, the baddest man on the planet.
On the
Because if
planet.
you into any room right now, who really gonna stop him?
and
If Mike Tyson walk in here right now
I'm
on
gonna
this
say yes,
podcast
sir. You
and
want a
snatch
beer?
this
Yes,
mic,
sir.
I'm like, that's your mic.
and what's crazy about that is it has nothing to do with their mental stability. That
Mm-mm.
Nope.
has
It's because
zero.
they really don't have it though. When you talk about somebody like Mike Tyson, also, I think
Yeah,
that plays for some people, right? I think people are probably actually fearful of someone like Mike Tyson.
losing it.
You know what he can actually do to you physically,
Have
but
you heard
you
people?
also know that this dude is not fully there.
Have
Yeah,
you heard people on his podcast? Like on his podcast, people they like the mystique is real. Like when they walk into the room, they still fear Mike Tyson. Like they
yeah. You
not
saw
even the
those
same person.
videos.
They're like, man, I'm still scared when I walk in the room.
How could you not be if you watched
Look,
all these men get knocked out in 6 seconds? Like it'd be,
just
I'm not gonna say the
just
wrong
the
thing and
other
have it
day,
5 on me. Like, hey man, I'm good,
I saw them talking about Brandon Marshall and Ocho, which I didn't see the clip,
bro.
but they said when Brandon Marshall stood up and started yelling, and Ocho kind of looked a little like taken aback. I was say that, but it's like, yo, Brandon Marshall 6'4", 230, 240, and you know he not all the way there.
Why they got him on that podcast like that? Man ain't like he ain't been struggling with this. He
Mm-hmm.
been struck,
You
but
know,
hey,
it's good, but I think
shout out to
that's
Brandon
really
Marshall.
probably one of them crazy things too. Of can you be comfortable enough to let somebody really get there and express without that fear that they might have an episode on you? Because honestly, I wouldn't want to fight Brandon Marshall. You know, it's a big dude.
It's a
So
big brother. You gotta do it. Yeah, you got big brother. But go ahead, Jay
You gotta do
Jones.
what you gotta do. No, I was saying we was saying chitty back. No, I'm just playing.
Mm.
We kind of touching on the addiction versus pleasure when we're talking about the athletes and how they get so just addicted to their craft, being great and everything, and kind of how Demarcus said it can be a good thing because I mean, pleasure is you please people, you please from eating cake, but eating too much cake can get you diabetes or so pleasures are just something that feels good, but that I guess that addiction comes when it's you just kind of
when
thrive
it's
for that pleasure.
unbalanced,
Yeah, it's
it comes
unbalanced.
when it's unbalanced, right?
Your,
Because
your appetite, your appetite for that pleasure is just you need it all the time.
keep it on
So
sports, right? Keep it on what we were just talking about. If you're only chasing championships, that's the only thing that's gonna bring you happiness. I gotta win rings. And I remember telling you this in college.
mm,
Kobe sat there with his children.
Mm-hmm.
and said, I wasted a year of my life
Mm-hmm.
because we did not win a championship. Hello, daughter.
He
This is
definitely
my
said that.
daughter sitting
He
here.
said that.
I wasted a whole year of my life.
Shout out to Bean.
Shout out to the
Okay.
big.
Shout out to Kobe
Right.
Bean.
Shout out
Rest
to
in
the
peace
big.
still. But you know, that's kind of the stuff you got to take away from it, right?
Right.
That's the that's where it's unbalanced. Because if you getting your happiness from somewhere else as well, okay, basketball ain't work out this year. But I saw my little girl do this and that. I saw whatever happened. This that happened with my wife. Cool. It's a lot of other things. Your business was successful. Where's your other balance coming in at? I think that's really the issue, right? So
Too much of anything is a bad thing, man.
Too much
Too much
water
of
will kill you. They have water
too much water. Yeah,
intoxication.
water
If
is
you drink
poisonous.
more than 2 liters of water an hour, you will you will kill yourself.
Yeah.
So I
it was a
mean,
person in 2000, I think this was like 2009. It was early in our college life. Somebody on a radio show, and it was a contest to see how much water you can drink to win some stupid prize, and they drown themselves drinking water.
Mhm.
So
you will have seizures. You will flush. You will kill yourself if you drink
Yeah.
too much. So yeah, good thing. Too much. Everything in moderation. Not everything. Some things are bad. Period. But most things in moderation will be all right. But yeah, the
It's,
addiction
don't smoke crack.
versus pleasure.
man,
Don't smoke.
it's like, bro, like being a person myself, I'm definitely they say people have addictive personalities. I have
Mhm.
an addictive personality for sure. Like no doubt in my mind. I know if anything that I like, if I try it about 10 times in a row, it's probably gonna be around for a couple of years. So I know myself. Like the Parker's like looking
DeMarcus face.
he's looking concerned. He like, oh, can you
Oh,
to
no.
talk?
I didn't know where he was going with this.
No, bro, I do. No, I'm just saying. I got like
It's a real thing.
man, it's a real thing. It's like I really gotta try to like break myself from things that I enjoy. Like if I enjoy it and I fall in love with it, I fall in love with the process of whatever it is that I'm having pleasure from.
Mhm.
Carrie, Carrie, before you even get away from this, I don't think I've ever heard this explained. So you just said you have an addictive personality. When you
Right.
know you have an addictive personality, how do you break away once you figure out you're addicted to it?
Okay. So
Especially
I'm
with having an addictive personality. How do you break away from it? How do you
Let
get
me add into that as well. How do you determine it to be something that you need to break away from?
okay. So I'm gonna address what Demarcus said first. So how do I break away from that? Interrupt the pattern. So I have to interrupt the pattern. When I identify that as something that's kind of going, boom, boom, it's like clockwork. I start to notice that I'm not even thinking about it anymore. Then I have to interrupt the pattern so that I could just break free and breathe and think about what I'm doing. Because I think when you have an addictive personality, you're not thinking about what you're doing. It's automatic. You know what I'm saying? You just do it. You could do it in your sleep. People will talk to you. You'll be doing something else. You'll still be doing that thing and not even be able to notice that you're doing it. People be telling you that, did you know you were, or they be like, hey, you always doing it. You kind of like deny it. Like you be like, I ain't always, and then you gotta like really like, okay, I gotta break the pattern. Like do something just wildly bizarre outside of what you would normally do, like in your day. Like for example, I got a really bad caffeine habit. You know what I'm saying? Like I've taken times throughout my life where I've just interrupted that pattern where I'll just go just wild with it and go straight like just straight rogue, bro. I would like do something like my green food, my green superfoods. I get on these and I start drinking those instead just in the morning, like when I would normally drink my caffeine. And I just make
Mhm.
sure that's like the replacement for that pattern that I was doing. So now I got something to drink instead of the coffee. You know what I'm saying? That'd be that little break. But it's so to talk about what you said though, Nate, to how do you identify it, bro? That's when that's what's deep, bro. Cause like that's when my friends and my family start telling me like, hey man, like you gotta take a break. You know, so people that love you, they'll be the first ones to let you know. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
They'll like start saying little things like you gotta chill out. You gotta relax, bro. Like, hey, you can like the podcast, right? When we first started, Jay Jones, like he know I would call it him, bro, like around the clock. Like he probably
4 in the morning. 4 in the morning. What's up? I'm up.
yeah,
Like I'm sleeping.
yeah. Like I'm asleep. I'm not on the podcast right
Yeah.
now. So but it's like when I get in that mode, like I don't notice time. I don't know what day it is. I don't, bro. It's like when it's time. Like let's go. And it's like, people that care about you gonna be like, hey, bro, like go ahead, relax. Like, take a chill pill. Like it's gonna be good. And you're like, okay, well, let me take a step back then. And then that's when you could kind of, it's like you need people around you that aren't addicted to it to tell you.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like they have to be supporting
Envi- Environment can be everything.
you.
I've taken people away from a group home over here in Fort Worth and put them in a group home in Dallas, and the person changes just because their environment changes. They're just like, I'm not around cigarettes. I'm not around cigarettes. I'm not around alcohol. So I don't think about it. And then, like you said, that substitution thing, I used to always say, what's your favorite snack? What's something you taste good? Twizzlers. Instead of waking up and smoking a cigarette, wake up and eat a Twizzler. And
Yeah.
it works. It works. It's like, oh, it changes that habit.
As a diabetes prevention coach and physical
Well,
educator, I'm gonna tell y'all,
yeah,
don't wake up and eat Twizzlers, but
Yeah.
something substituting. Not a
But
Twizzler.
that's breaking the pattern, though.
Breaking the
That's
pattern. Yeah,
that
they don't get
disruption.
addicted to the Twizzler. Yeah, it's like it's something they're not addicted to. That's what I should say. So
You
yeah, they
have
don't get addicted to the Twizzler. It just breaks that pattern of the cigarette
you gotta
nature.
break it. Gotta
that's what
break it.
building to change the habit is build a new habit, right?
Right.
Exactly. When you
That's
break
so
it, if you don't replace it, that's the big thing people
Mm-hmm.
forget. Because you can break it and you can be like, boom, I'm good. Like, you take 3 weeks, maybe even 3 months. But if
Mhm.
you never replace it, you're going back. If you
Mm-hmm.
never replace it, you're going back.
I started Gerald from mad at me. I started writing a book.
Yeah, I'm mad. Mm-hmm.
And Gerald told me, he said, you need to finish that book before you're 40. I don't care what you do, you need to finish that book before you're 40. And this was, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. This probably been half a decade ago. That's how bad it was. But I was writing a book and I forgot what I called it. I was so fixated on the name, but I was writing a book. But I mean, I'm no psychologist or nothing, but I said that if you want true, it's called true change. That's what it's called. If you want true change, you have to change your environment and you have to change your mindset because one can be strong enough to take over the other. To where if you change your mindset, but you're still in the same environment, whichever is stronger, you're not gonna really change. If you
Mm-hmm.
change your environment and don't change your mindset, if one is stronger, you'll bring the environment wherever you go.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
And exactly what y'all were just saying, you have to break both of them. Like your environment, what you're doing, like you said, what you're doing on a constant basis, and then have friends and family tell you this is your thinking pattern. And you have to change both of them. You don't have to physically move anywhere to change your environment, but you have to change where that addiction or where that compulsive attitude is comfortable at.
Right.
Right, bro. Because you will bring it. You'll bring it every
Mm-hmm.
single place in the world. Like you will
Yes.
find it. Like a dope
What's the
fiend
recommend?
will find dope
You look
everywhere. A
you look
dope fiend
bad
will
for
find
real. Like,
dope
calm down.
everywhere, bro. Everywhere. It's like,
Yeah.
man, I didn't like I thought that when I left college in Montana, right? I thought when I left college in Montana, I was gonna stop drinking so much and being so reckless. Like I thought for sure, like it was just the place where I was at. Like I was like, where I'm at is making me act like this. And then I come to Texas, and it's the same thing. I was like, hold up, wait a minute now. I was like, you look just like, you know what I'm saying, the people that was where I was, I couldn't understand it. I thought I was cursed. But in reality, it was because my mind, like you said, my mindset was like literally that feedback loop was always on the same type of thoughts. And then people pick up on that and they be like, oh, okay, you like to, oh, okay. Cause it's like when you get in conversations like this is why your brother was a blessing in my life, bro. Cause when I used to talk to him, he used to always say stuff that like was different, like than the stuff that my friends traditionally were saying that, not and I know no diss on my friends, but Jay Jones got like this thing like where he always like say what he think and he just say it. Like he just say it. And I'll be like, huh? Like I just listen to it. Not really, kind of sort of, but then I would start to eventually like be like, okay, maybe some of this stuff he's on to. Cause I remember hearing it from the old school cats, you know what I'm saying? And then slowly but surely you start to realize when certain people in your life, you start to realize that yeah, maybe this is something I need to change. And then you start to get that support. You get that support, and then things can change for you, you know. But it's like you said, mindset and environment. I like the way you put that because that is the two major things that could turn that thing around, dog. Real talk, real talk. Cause boy, I'm telling you, I got man, whew. But it's beneficial when you grinding though. Like you can outlast a lot of cats because I don't need to sleep like that. I really don't.
But you hurting your mental. That's
I
the
hurt my
thing.
mental. Yeah,
Yeah, when you doing all that, you grinding, and you are working hard. You might be accomplishing some of your goals, but are you okay? That's the
exactly.
thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. That's the big
That's
thing. It's Mr.
the
Self
big
Care.
thing.
Mr. Self Care.
Nah, Carrie used to come. Used to stay at work till 7 sometimes. I'd be like, hey,
Bro,
this job don't care about you. Hey, all the time.
bro. He
I'm
used to
gone.
always say that, bro. Before I went to that job, when I was coaching, bro, on everything I love, I had a blow up bed in the office. I had a blow up bed behind my desk, and my athletes used to come in there and they'd be like, "Coach, you be sleeping in here?" I'm like, "Nah, man. You know what I'm saying? I got this from from my partner, whatever." I would really sleep in my office, bro. Like I was legit, like what I'm saying, put the sheets out because I had things that I was running from. Like there was things in my life that I was trying to run from, and I felt like my way out was success. So I was like, let me grind my way to success to get myself out of the cellar in my mind, though. It was like it was all in my head. And I couldn't see that because I was addicted to the grind. I was addicted to my job. I was task addicted. You know what I'm saying? Like that's bro, that's a different addiction. Like when you task addicted, you think you're doing good. Like you think you're like I'm working. Like how is this wrong? I'm making money. Like how is this wrong? I'm helping people, but you're not helping yourself. Now you declining your own health from your addiction, which is something you think is good, but it's not good to you.
Mhm.
So that's why I resonate with these athletes, bro. Like when they do that to themselves, they run themselves to the ground. That, you know, but
For real, for real.
100,
Can't pour out of an empty cup, man. If you empty, you gonna end up snapping instead of pouring out of. You gonna snap on
man,
somebody.
Exactly.
man, you snap that thing start fizzling out. Hit that, poof, hit that little. That's when you start dropping them. Once that poof happen, bro, man, anything coming out your mouth next.
Yeah.
Anything coming out your mouth next. You said do what? Oh, okay, bet, man.
Man, you and you, you can get it. You
Hit the
can get it.
table.
Matter of fact, I'm about to go to the trunk.
Whoa, whoa, what happened? What happened? Yeah, that's
And mental health is real, man.
bro,
So yeah,
100.
but yeah, it's kind of it's how we kind of fluctuating, kind of moving to the next topic: coping with stress.
Coping with stress.
Yeah.
We've been
Don't go to the trunk. Don't go to
Don't
the
go
cup.
to.
Leave the trunk closed, everybody. Leave the trunk closed.
No,
Pop trunk.
Don't pop trunk,
unless you
please.
got a yoga mat back there and you finna do some meditation in
Yeah.
some.
Find you a
Let's leave
space.
the trunk closed. You know,
But yeah,
that's
coping
the
with stress.
deal,
Then
man.
you put loss on here too. What was that about? Who was that?
That's
Who
Nate.
put?
That's Nate right there.
I just put it together. Coping with stress or loss. I was thinking about like the DMX thing. I think
Oh,
it's
okay.
hard for people, just dealing with loss. Anyways, I think that's a stressful time in life.
Mm.
But overall, how you cope with things aside from, I think the generic, like I was just saying, do yoga, go meditate, whatever. That stuff is good for kind of actually the mental, in the moment. But how do you actually, in a day-to-day situation, cope with the stressors that you're dealing with? How do you get through those situations without going to that breaking point? All right,
can I go back and forth with you for a second? If
talk to me.
Carrie and Jarrell doesn't mind.
You good, bro?
All right. I know me and Nate can talk about this all day, so just gonna pick your brain. And y'all can chime in too, but I just uh Nate, when we talk about coping and especially with a loss of life and whatsoever, I think that uh is directly tagged because I just talked to a friend about her brother and just talk about some of the things that he was going through. I don't think we understand vulnerability. Vulnerability helps us more than it hurts us. But of course, in the wrong hands, it can hurt us deeply, but it probably still helps to get stuff out. So, how would you tag coping and vulnerability together for it to be beneficial to the person that's going through the experience. Because if they can't be vulnerable, I don't believe you can cope. And if you can't cope, you can't get through the experience. Uh, you follow me on that?
I do. That's an interesting way to put it. To say that if you can't be vulnerable, I think I agree with that though. Because you got to one be vulnerable with yourself is number one, right? So you have to be able to really be open with yourself and say you have a problem, you're having a hard time going through something. I think that's number one. As far as vulnerability, I think that always relates to interaction with another person. I think trust is the biggest one there, right?
I don't think that's true. I think some people don't even trust themselves. They won't be vulnerable to themselves because they don't want to appear weak.
Bingo,
Like
right?
they get to, like some
That's
people
where I'm
will
gonna
just
get
get
to.
to a breaking point to where they just break and they have to be vulnerable. They go cry in a closet or something. But I see
Exactly.
some people feel like they got to be so strong that they won't even be vulnerable with themselves.
Like what we talked about before, are men loved unconditionally, all of the things we talk about with men. I think that's definitely one of those topics. Vulnerability is, I think, perceived as weakness because it is at a state, and that's really what the definition is. If something is vulnerable, it's weak, it's susceptible at the time.
Mhm.
So the whole mindset behind being a man, you're supposed to be the pillar of strength, all of these things. You can't show those kind of vulnerabilities. I think you have to understand that that's just really what makes you a person, though. Honestly, I think that's why this is something that I think we should talk about more. Honestly, to be real with you, I don't have an answer as to how you put it all together because I think it's really different for everybody. I think the key though is starting with the the acceptance that one, you're gonna go through some stuff, right? And then nobody is strong enough to get through anything completely 100% good by themselves, right? You might push through it, you might be able to keep rolling, but did you actually process through it and handle it? I think it's also I say this for me. A lot of the time when it comes to me coping with stuff, especially like if I focus on the topic of loss or something like that, it's easy for me to say it's a part of life, right? I'm a very rational person, very logically based person. So understanding the circle of life, the cycle of life, I don't get too caught up in it, right? I don't really let myself dwell on things that I can't control. So that works for me. But I'll be the first one that's like, I'm not a super open person all the time. I don't go to other people and talk about things that are going on with me. I don't really talk about issues like that. And it's not necessarily because of fear of being seen as weak. It's more so the if you just keep on rolling through it, it's got to roll on, right? That's
You learn
always been
that.
my thing.
You learn
So
that.
yeah, right. You keep on pushing. It is what it is. Life continues to roll. So I don't know. I think that's really why I put that one out there. I think this is something
Yeah.
good that we all have to talk about to figure out different ways to go through that. Really, I know I'm going a little long on it, but I mentioned before a friend who was dealing with something, and that is kind of something that always comes back to my mind because they have highlighted that a loss of a family member was something that
Mhm.
kind of was a very, spiraling path for them. So how do you actually cope with something like that? We all go lose our parents at some point, right? So how do you actually prepare yourself for that? Like
There's
I
no, there's
don't.
no, there's no way to prepare yourself. But like you said, it's more like uh, how to react to it. How to. I always said, like you said, my thing is to if I do lose somebody close, I feel like they are in a better place
Mhm.
at peace, but that they also are looking down on me and they want to see me do good, and I want to make them proud. So at the end of the
Mhm.
day, it's like, hey, I wake up, or sometimes you can talk to them. I mean, I feel like I can talk to them. And sometimes I'm like, I know you're proud of that. Or, hey, I did that for you. Playing football, getting the second point. You see people point up all the time. So it's like, doing stuff for the person that you lost and, just having that feeling like they're with you sometimes. You always get that feeling. So, I mean, with him, I think I know what friend you're talking about. He was so
Yeah.
close to, his family member. So it was kind of like his world was shook. But if we could just kind of teach him that, you know, that person's still with you, you know, maybe watching you do what you're doing. And if you just keep, like you said, keep rolling on, keep on keeping on, you're gonna get through that. But another thing
Exactly
is,
what I
like you
told you,
said,
man.
another thing, like you said, social support. A lot of people build social supports, but they build unhealthy relationships.
Mm.
So it's like they build, they go to somebody, but they go to the wrong person. Because I always tell my
Yeah,
clients, you build social support, you want that social support, you want that environment. But like DeMarcus said, sometimes the environment is drugs. Sometimes they run to
right.
the drug person, and it eases that pain for 2 days, and then I got to run back to that drug man, and then they become addicted, like we talked about earlier. So the big thing with building social supports is building healthy relationships. You want to build people, be around people who tell you, hey, that teach you how to do better, that give you good advice. So that's my thing with it.
All right, so take that. You just something to say, Kerry?
Well,
Hmm?
I was letting y'all kind of talk on that because I haven't really lost anybody that close to me. Like
Mm.
my parents, I still got my life. My brother, thank God. I got all my really, really close. But go ahead.
I know something. You lost your shirt. That was close to
That's one. That's one.
That's
That's one.
two.
We.
Put two on him.
And he wonder why he's not on the podcast. Technical foul.
All right.
Technical foul.
So,
But
anyways, I digress. Nah,
I
man.
digress.
Coping with stress though, man. I think it's one of those things where I've read like they say there's no real way around the stressful experience. So you have to actually go forward. Like you cannot back up, you can't go around it, but you actually have to move forward. And if you try to make it another way around, then you're gonna end up having to deal with it anyway. It's like at some point you're gonna end up the world's gonna come crumbling down for you because you're trying to push, and this thing is bubbling underneath the surface. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like for me, I feel like with the coping, it's like I think it's important for people to know you don't have to be okay to move forward. Like you don't have to be okay. You can grab your bandaged legs and your bruised heart and all the struggles that you got and just keep going. Just at some point things are gonna kind of lighten up because you'll become stronger through the process of it. I mean, there's no real pretty quick fix, no illustrious way to get this all worked out for you. It's like you're going to go through hell. Like you're gonna feel this. And God, I believe as a faithful believer, you gotta rely on him. Like you just gotta lean on God. You have to lean on God. Or if you believe in anything else, you have to find that faith and you have to literally stick by and just find a way to step one time. Like just find a way to step another time. And at some point you'll start to come to the realization that okay, this here is making me stronger. I can feel my ancestors. I can feel my loved one. I can feel their strength within me, even though they're not here. Like somehow God just blessed me with all the strength they had, the things they taught me to move forward. But coping is just one of those things where you just got to stay going forward. You can't lose yourself and think you're gonna numb it because that's
Right.
the number one thing I think that like really puts people way back when you try to get a tranquilizer because you will not numb it. Like you will not numb it. You're only going to find a way to cope. You will find a way to cope, but you will not numb because the
Mm.
numbing will end. Like
Right.
I remember we had a coach, Coach B, shout out to Coach B. He used to always tell us 24-hour rule. If we won or lost a game, you got 24 hours. So if you celebrating, you got 24 hours. If we lost, you got 24 hours of soak. And after that, it's done. And recently I kind of heard it talked about from a Navy SEAL that he does a 2-minute deal. He only gives himself 2 minutes so to respond. You know what I'm saying? So positive or negative, you give yourself 2 minutes to dwell on however, and then you kind of move forward the best way you can. And I think that's something that we just got to keep going on the path, man. You can't get out of it. You're not gonna get out of it. You're not.
Mm.
It's also how you look at what you're doing on that path too, man. I think kind of going back and having those positive reflections is going to help you, right? As
Yeah.
you move forward, and I like how you said if you bruised up, you're beaten and battered, right? You bandaged up, but you can actually look and say, man, I didn't still walk another 10 miles torn ACL,
Powerful.
whatever it is, right?
Powerful,
look
bro.
back at that and say, not, oh man, my ACL, but I'm strong enough to keep on moving, right? So you
Right.
use that and you build off of it. Is everything is perception, man. Is you can perceive that you've had, all of these bad things in life. You can perceive that you've had bad things and you've moved past it. You can have a perception that you're really not special because bad stuff happens to everybody, right? So it's something
Right.
that you have to get through. Um,
Fall in love with your mind, man. Fall in love with the ability to lose yourself in positivity, or lose yourself in, the dreams of what was good. Like they say, you can be in a terrible spot, you can be in prison, they can put your body in chains, and you can dream of the better days, and you can actually they say you can actually increase your endorphins and elevate serotonin. Like, bro, like you won't be able to tell the difference from reality in that dream if you really dreaming intense enough. Like that's, I mean, you got to stay in your mind. You got to stay with yourself. You got to be on your side. Like you got to. And if you can't, to get the supports that's going to support you for real, for real. Not the supports that's just going to be there to, what I'm saying, hey, you need this. Like, no, I don't need that. Like I need somebody to really help me. Like, you know what I'm
Mhm,
saying? Like, so that's why I think kind of plays a role in that coping, man. And
mhm.
then,
and that,
meditation and
ladies
all
and
those other
gentlemen, is why we're spreading the light so that we can all be more positive role models. I'm gonna
100.
start hitting us with these taglines in here. We
Hey,
got lights in here.
hey, be a
I'm,
light so we can
I
illuminate the
got it
dark places, Nate. I said, hey,
straight
Nate in
up,
there.
man. But that's real though. I mean, because really, I think it is easy for us to say have those good support systems, but a lot of people don't have it because a lot of people don't understand positive support, I would say,
Right.
right? So I think that is kind of where we are really doing something positive to spread that positive thinking overall. Like it's not just run to a bottle, run to the blunt, or whatever it is, just to kind of get yourself away from it, right? It's continue to know that life goes on.
Hmm.
End of the day, life really has to keep going on, right? I love the saying, one monkey don't stop no show,
Nope.
because it don't. So
For real. Nate, every time in college, something crazy will happen, something bad would happen. We don't know what the next thing gonna happen. We don't have enough money. Nate just sit in the back and be like, something gonna shake. And I swear it always did. I'd be like, after he said it, I'd be like, bro, we like in panic mode. Next day, something shake. He'd be like, I told you. Nate never
because
panics.
man, what does panic do for you?
Right.
Nothing, man.
Nothing. All right. If it
Nothing.
don't shake, then I'm gonna figure it out. Look,
Exactly.
if it
Something
don't
gonna
shake,
shake.
I might shake. Okay, some go shake. We okay to build.
Oh, don't get the shaking on them. Get the percolating.
Nah, look, y'all see these the light's still on. I ain't gotta do that today. Wait till it's dim on that camera.
Oh man, hold up.
Man,
Talk
but
like
yeah. Yeah, that's real though. I mean, coping is really your way of doing it though. I mean, like we said, it's not one way, it's a million ways. So grieving can take one day, grieving can take 10 years. But y'all
Grieving
just
can be a
gotta keep it
lifetime,
moving.
man.
Yeah, or it could be like, but you still gotta keep moving. Laying in bed and crying about it ain't gonna do nothing for you. Nothing for you. They're gonna be you'll be grieving about your own life too. So
That's part of
and
the
it.
process. Don't do it too long.
right,
Don't get,
right.
Cry if you gotta cry.
yeah.
Get
No,
it out.
yeah.
Yeah, say that though, because I think that's the part we forget about
Stay there.
sometimes. Yeah,
All right.
say that. Yeah, you can
Absolutely.
cry. You can cry. You can cry.
Grieve. Right. You
Even
gotta
men.
grieve. Yeah.
Everybody can
It's
cry.
cool to cry. Like get that out, let it go, feel better. But you gotta, that's the whole thing. Get it out and let's go. You can't stay
Mhm,
there.
Yeah,
yeah.
because it's uncomfortable. I know. For me, I hate crying. I hate tears. I hate hearing tears. And the hardest thing for me, and this is me being in 100, like being in a room full of men crying, or being in a room with a man crying. If a man's crying, I don't want to be in the room. Like I'm not gonna lie to y'all, that's just me.
That's
But
not for you.
I know that's from the societal norms that I've kind of been raised in. Like I just, I mean, really, when I grew up, it was like, what you crying for?
See,
You
it's
know what I'm saying?
crazy you say it that way.
What are you crying for?
Because for me, it's not a it's not something that makes me like want to spring into action. But when I see a dude cry, it's like, oh, it's real,
It's real.
right? It's like, oh, it's real, like real.
And yeah, and that's yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's
I can't even begin to explain how. uncomfortable for most of my life. I have been with tears, but having a daughter, it's kind of opened me up, because she's a lot more comfortable with crying and she's a little more in touch with her emotions than I was when I was her age. Like she's able to tell me, she's like the other day, it's funny we talking about this. I was cooking and she was like, Dad, my sister cries and I know that's when something's wrong. And I was like, Cadence, do you think that crying fixes anything? She's like, she's like, I think that it lets you know that something's not right or you can fix it. It helps you fix things. And I'm like looking at her like, man, it took me till like last year to figure that out. Like I was almost 30 years old. You eight, but I mean, men, we just kind of behind in the emotional intelligence, man. It's not we, especially black men. Y'all know how it go. Y'all know how it go, man. Y'all know how it go. We
Rough, tough, hard.
yeah,
I ain't gonna
yeah,
cry. You got to
yeah.
cry. Yeah.
It's a different thing for us, but it is important that people know you can be open, you can be transparent, you can be vulnerable. And I guess that rolls into our episode of Cap or No Cap.
Oh Lord.
Cap or No Cap. So man, this one gonna roll to Mr. Lipton go himself first. And then we're gonna go ahead and roll around this thing. So man, cap or no cap? Cap or no cap. So let me go ahead and get that thing. All right. Men are scared by their own vulnerability. Men are scared by their own vulnerability. Or,
Mr. Lift go.
yeah, Mr. Lipton go. Cap or no cap? What you thinking? Brother Lipton go.
All men or some men.
Oh man.
That's cap for sure.
How so?
Because everybody ain't scared of their vulnerability. Carrie, go to the next person. Everybody.
Why you
Hey,
don't want to?
Carrie, scratch that. Give a percentage.
All right, I'll give you a percentage.
Just
75.
say some. Yeah, I
75%.
don't think you can't
75% of
quantify the
men.
percent of that, man. You gotta
75%.
just put a sum on it. You can't really quantify that.
Well, some. What y'all want from me, man? What y'all want?
It's like, hey, it's
Hey, what y'all want
30%.
from me, man? I like what are we scared of being vulnerable or not, man? Cap or no cap?
Most.
Most, yeah.
I think it's a sign of maturity.
You
So
didn't answer the question. No cap.
Thank you.
I
Thank
already
you.
said I already said cap or whatever. I don't know. Twist it off
See,
cap.
DeMarcus
three,
thinks that
three.
so you think that a lot of men are able to be vulnerable and they're not afraid of that. That's what you're saying, DeMarcus?
I ain't say a lot of men. I just said like not all
Are you just
Okay.
say me? Just say me, DeMarcus. Just say me. I'm not afraid of it. Is that what
Yeah,
you
the
said?
markets ain't.
Cause you try to like own this, cause bro, a lot of people still struggle with this, man.
men. I
Dude, have you
understand
have
that,
you
Carrie.
ever looked at Twitter comments?
First of all,
Dude
I don't like the way
are
Carrie.
very, very, very scared of being vulnerable.
Yes,
I
they
think if you said
are.
all at first, but now we're saying most, Demarcus. Most men are.
Yeah,
Capanoka.
A lot of
He not gonna say it. He gonna
a
say
all
cash
good
men
cow.
percentage
scared to
of
be vulnerable. Yeah, you right.
Yeah, you right. So no cap.
No cap. No cap. I'm one of them. I don't like we just said, I don't want to cry and speak I don't want to do all that in front of everybody. Now with people I trust, maybe, but I'm not really.
Steve Harvey cried every week.
on what?
I'm not Steve Harvey.
On Family Feud?
But Steve Harvey is a multi-millionaire.
He
What is
probably
Steve
get
Steve
more than the
Harvey
Harvey
crowd.
ain't he
own,
don't even
man?
represent 90 some percent of us, bro. We regular dudes, we not trying to be vulnerable, brother. You know that. You know that. Like, oh, I mean, maybe you are, but
Well, ah,
Let's go. Let's go.
let's go. What's
yes,
up,
I think
man?
it's a time maturity is a part of my life where I ain't gonna lie. A couple parts of my life that taught me that tough stuff
What?
it only does so much. Baby for the family and the kids, but you gotta let it out yourself too. You gotta be vulnerable too. Like with death and losing stuff, like You try to hold all that stuff in, you end up saturating your mind and blowing your head off. Like it's
No, for real. Ego will get you killed. Ego will make you kill yourself.
But that
exactly.
but I'm gonna go ahead and add to this and say that I think it's no cap because that's why there's less men on this planet than women because of what you just said. Because that stress is a lot for a man, and it'll actually make you be more risky. It'll make you go out here and do more because you thinking you got to be strong enough. You got to be the macho. You got to have the bravado. You got to be able to go and I'm gonna bring more resources in because I'm so stressed about my position in this family.
Yeah.
Now I'm out here putting myself at risk and I die and I'm taking out more men out of this world, and then the females are forced to take care of the family without me being there because I was so daggone stressed. I couldn't let nothing out, and I just, like you said, I blew up. Like that was it.
Mhm.
That's part of the whole podcast. That's why we're here. We shine
Yeah,
a light on these things.
shine a light on this thing.
Because it really helps. I mean, I know the like you said, the macho and all this stuff.
J. Jones. Now you showed his light, man. You showed his light.
Uh no, it really helps. Uh you as a man, you're not being vulnerable, like people say, in touch with your feelings, with however you want to describe it. Like Kara just said, it shortens our lives.
Mhm.
Hold everything in, trying to be the bull, the cornerstone, and everything for everybody. And if you never let it out, like the pressure's gonna build, it's gonna burst. And that's you. That's gonna be your heart. That's gonna be your brain. That's gonna be
Yeah.
going off on somebody. You're gonna go to work, lose your job. Now you don't have the finances you had to provide. So you leaving and going to another, like you running from the problem. Like it really helps. It really
But do we all have that resource or that person, I should say? A
no.
lot of men don't
That's
have
why I
that.
said
Do you talk
this
to the wall?
podcast. Well, I said this podcast, and
Yeah.
especially if you've been watching, like you understand, like we all had things to go through, and we learn and we grow, and I think that's one of the maturations of a person, period, but especially a
Mhm.
man because we tend to defer from it, but you get to that point to where you can let that go or understand that feeling or be able to express things in a different way or cry or whatever you have to do, like it actually genuinely helps you. It helps your family. It helps your offspring. It helps everybody live in a more comfortable setting. You know how they say, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. Well, if daddy dead, and I don't know. If
Ain't
daddy
nobody
dead,
getting
nobody going to
fed.
bed. Like I don't know.
You got no bedtime because your
God,
mama
please.
No, we got it.
That's real though. Like
Hey,
when you,
what? What?
your daddy died, ain't nobody going. It's
Can't
real.
nobody
That's
sleep. I mean, I
fair.
guess
Yeah,
you
you
can't
can't
sleep.
sleep peacefully. You can't.
Hey, Derek, anybody go to bed? Oh man,
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
But
God.
Jarrell, you said
Oh
do men
man.
actually have that kind of outlet or person to
Mhm.
go to? I don't know that it always has to be someone else because
Mhm.
like when myself personally, I don't really go to people with my issues.
Mhm.
It probably sounds really arrogant or something. I'm not really interested in other people's opinions on how to solve issues for the most part. Um, one for me that is if I don't know that you've gone through it, I don't know that you can help me get through it.
Mhm.
Right.
I was gonna say that. Like some people in
Also,
certain
some
situations.
people I know you've gone through it and I saw you fail through it. So I don't really want your
Mhm.
advice. Right now, it's probably not the greatest way to go about life, but
Mhm.
that's me. And so
Logical.
flipping that to the outlet side of it though, one of y'all said you just go and talk to the wall or whatever, but it is, it may not be just talking to the wall, but it's that meditation is having those moments with yourself where you actually get open and realize, okay, like that hurt me. How do I deal with it? Blah blah
Mhm.
blah. You don't always have to go to someone else, I think,
Mhm.
because what are you necessarily getting from them? If it's someone to listen, then cool. That's what friends. That's what therapy is for. But I don't know that you always need the feedback unless you are someone who needs the feedback.
Right.
Then that's but
Okay. That's
Nate,
real. That's real.
Nate, I wanna warn you. I know I'm a little older than you, but I want to warn you that don't let that arrogance keep you from knowledge or from something that can build you, because you can learn from a fool too, man.
Absolutely. And I think that's why I don't want to talk to them too much when you a fool. I try to take what my boy JT said is one of the realest things I think everybody should apply to their life. People don't want free lessons. I do. I want to watch you go through something stupid and see how you move through it so I don't do those things. I don't need you to come over here and give me a crash course on Dummy 101. I can observe, right?
Straight up.
So that's how I look at that. But you're absolutely right. You can always, you can learn from anything. You can learn what not to do. You can learn what to do. So absolutely.
I think it's a lot more organic when you learn from somebody when they doing it than when you actually
Yes.
talk to them about it. It's a lot more organic because you'll get to really watch them without the pressure of them thinking that they teaching you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They be like, oh yeah, this is what I would have done if it's
Hey,
you know, it like
thank
I
you.
If
Thank
saw
I
you,
was
you.
DeMarcus.
smarter,
Thank
boy,
you. Thank you.
if I was smarter in the day,
Yeah.
I would have did it this way.
Yeah, you be kind of like
Hey,
sometimes you can,
thank you, DeMarcus. I got to watch you.
Oh, yeah.
hey,
He said, yeah.
hey,
No,
look
for
at
real.
Yeah.
that's what I'm
For
saying.
real. For real. Like, no joke. It was a joke, but for real. I used to, DeMarcus would do something and be like, bro, don't, blah, 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 yeah, whatever. And I'd be like, all right. And not for some reason, he's my brother, but I trusted. His word was law. Like, I wouldn't do it. The one time DeMarcus said, don't move, I froze. It was a spider on my back. I didn't know. I didn't know. He said, don't move. But I was like, Mac, you like, you really trust me. There was a spider on your back. But nah, like I saw him go through some stuff and he'd be like, don't do it. And I'm like, okay. Man, I'm 30 years old. People like, how didn't you like not bump your head on, or why didn't you do that? I was like, I
Because
saw it
what
done.
good is big brother if that's not what you're doing? That's
Right.
literally what I've told my little brother all my life. Like, bruh, I'm 8 years older than you. I've literally done everything that you're gonna do. I've probably had all of the thoughts that you're gonna have.
Mhm.
So don't do nothing dumb. I'm telling you. We look, if even in that situation, it's like, bruh, we got the same mama. I can tell you how to navigate through this war and make it if you just listen,
Just
right?
Mhm.
listen,
That's
just
life though.
listen, just listen.
That's life. Yeah.
Life. Oh man, 100. I think that's the hardest thing though is just being able to be like I wished I had a big brother. I really do sometimes. I wish I had a big brother to watch, man. Like it's like my little brother the same thing, bro. I try to keep telling him. I try to give him that info and little brothers sometimes they just want to do what they want to do. So you just kind
Very
of
true.
but hey,
They don't
I
want free
love
lessons.
yeah. How you say they don't want free lessons, man. So we out here taking them free lessons. I appreciate you brothers for all the lessons y'all be giving me though. 100. Real talk, I really do be learning from this podcast, like real talk. Even though
Same.
Mr. Lifton go get mad at me because he don't like that I be. It's okay. You be talking about my shirt, bro. I don't care,
Hey, look, we
Wait,
bro.
take
I don't
indulgent
care,
sponsors
Demarcus.
as
I don't
well.
care, bro.
I'm just saying the sequence. Like you be talking about my shirt, bro.
Yeah, I don't care, bro. I
Man,
don't care.
trying to get his advertisement, bro. We need a
Yeah.
trail mix sponsorship.
Bro, this ain't trail mix now. These are brain berries.
What the
Blueberries, baby.
Brainberries.
Brain
oh
berries,
my
baby.
goodness.
Brainberry. Well, I'll be sponsored by blueberries too. Be
Yeah,
like
this blue
blueberries.
be like
Be
we
Beard,
a
got
grocery store near
hey,
you.
beard
hey
oil. We got
hey
the beard,
tap in.
the
We got the
beard oil.
beard oil
Be
on the
like
way.
beard oil. Yeah, I see. Look,
Yeah.
beards over here.
That's what
Okay.
got these beards looking luscious on this beard light. Be a light right here. So we got the beard oil going. We got the blueberries, the nuts we got going. You know what I'm saying? Trail mix.
We don't have no NFL players going. I know we ain't got
All
that.
right, man.
Hey man,
We might.
we're gonna be counseling them. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna
Yeah,
we're gonna
I
start
was like,
looking.
we
Yeah,
need
yeah.
positive ties to
Yeah,
the
we
NFL.
need positive ties, man. We need to kind of help that out. But
Yeah.
man, it's been real, brothers. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got
Hey,
closing
make good decisions this weekend. Make good decisions.
birthday boy. Make great decisions.
Cap or no cap, I'm gonna celebrate Jarrell's birthday like I normally did in college.
Oh Lord.
Hey,
I
I'm gonna
hope
go
not.
ahead. The face you made just now, I'm gonna go ahead and say no cap. From that
Look,
face and the
look,
things that I heard,
I hope it's cap.
I
man.
hope it's
Look,
I
Cap.
hope it's cap so I
I
can
He's
hope
get
it's
back
not.
to
incoherent.
Houston.
I hope it's not cap. I hope y'all enjoy it, man. For real, y'all be
Nah,
safe out there.
man.
But
All
Yes,
right, man.
sir.
But all right, man, y'all brothers be light.
DMX. That light come on. You
Yep.
know, that light, you're like, ding, it's like the light came on.
Mentally, you got to be able to say, I can get myself out of any hole.